She was real. She was real. If everyone was calling me Chopped and Unk in high school, I would be like, I ain't Chunk. You're getting freaking manipulated by my pheromones.
But you've got a job as a teacher. Why do you need more money?
Yeah, my bad.
I've had it up to here with us not talking about Scooby-Doo, because anyone that knows me knows that I was a Scooby-Doo kid. You know, we had our Thomas the Trains, which I also liked, but once I got a little bit older, it was time to sink my teeth into something with a little more substance, and for me that was Scooby-Doo. Any and all adaptations of Scooby-Doo. Because of my age, which I will not say, I'm 19. That wasn't true. I don't know why I said that. I have the most nostalgia, because of my age, for what's new Scooby-Doo. What is Scooby-Doo? That is classic, iconic, certified platinum on my charts in my house. I truly do think it's one of the best Scooby-Doo shows. I actually think the one I have the least nostalgia for is the original show, just because I actually didn't watch that until I was a little bit older, just because there weren't reruns of it.
You know, there was Scooby-Doo shows actively coming out when I was a kid, and those were the ones that were playing on the TV. And if they ever did play something older, it was usually a direct-to-TV movie or something like that.
I think it's all good. I genuinely don't think there's any Scooby-Doo media that is bad. Except for the one which shall not be named. Read my lips. Also, there's streets saying that they're working on a live-action Scooby-Doo show at Netflix, and I'm really excited about that, because ever since the 2002 Scooby-Doo movie and the following sequel, Monsters Unleashed, I do not think we've scratched the surface in the potential of a live-action Scooby-Doo. It's so visually interesting, it has a great narrative structure provided for you. I hope they do like a good mix of keeping it fun and funny, while also having like a little bit more of a adultish tone. Like, I'm not trying to get Riverdale up in here, but I am trying to get, maybe just a hint of Stranger Things. And I'm undecided if I want it to actually be supernatural, which is something we'll be talking about today, because we're talking about Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated.
Aren't you gonna tell us a story?
Scooby-Doo Mystery Inc. is my favorite Scooby-Doo show of all time in terms of character development, overarching story, and so many other things. Art style, villains, it really lands with me, and it does the best job because it is the only Scooby-Doo show that has like a true continuous storyline that builds on itself. There's always discussions about should there actually be supernatural elements or not in the Scooby-Doo episodes, and I do think it's stronger when it's not supernatural, just because that's the heart of what Scooby-Doo was. That's what it was supposed to be. However, I do think it is fun when there are a little bit of supernatural elements. Like there's that episode of What's New Scooby-Doo where the bad guy is that coral creature, and it actually ends up being like a real coral creature, and I think that's really fun. And that's kind of a area where it's like, okay, it's not supernatural, but it's not a guy in a mask, it's real. And that's something that's fun, and Scooby-Doo Mystery Inc. does that a couple times. Like I said, the character development is king in this show. It is truly, I think, what makes it so special. I love that it's not even just the 5 main characters. There's these reoccurring characters like in all the other Scooby-Doo shows, but in Mystery Inc., the reoccurring characters get development. Like Hot Dog Water, Brad and Judy, Mr. E, Cassidy.
I realized as I'm editing this that I literally didn't talk about Sheriff Bronson Stone or the mayor, which is just crazy because those are literally probably the 2 best supporting characters in the show, so that's actually going to be my bad.
And that girl with the braids, and she talks like this, and she's the bad guy in that one episode with the pan flute. Real ones know Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated did it before Weapons did it. Catch it, Aunt Gladys. So since I'm going on and on about the character development, let's talk about the characters. And I gotta start with none other than Scooby.
Left?
Right.
What? You said go left.
I said right. Go left.
Right?
Now, Scooby's a little bit divisive in the show. People do not love everything he does. The show does paint him out to be very jealous of Shaggy and Vilma's relationship and kind of possessive, and he does some kind of mean things. And it's like, hey, we're talking about this, and he is a dog. But he's a talking dog, and he feels, and he gets scared, and that makes me love him. But I do think he's good here, and Scooby actually is one of the biggest cases of growth, because in the first season, we see a lot of those tendencies that people find kind of insufferable about him in the show, and he actually grows. There is a little love interest for him in season 2, Nova, which she's so crazy and important to the plot, and that they make it important that like he is the animal companion for this generation of mystery solvers. After Scooby-Doo, I would probably want to talk about Vilma.
Guys, you see that? He's growling at me, actually growling.
Since we're kind of getting into that Shaggy, Vilma, Scooby, I almost said love triangle. Hey, he's a dog. But it is kind of a love triangle emotionally. Like it works the same narratively as a love triangle would. Vilma loves Shaggy in the show, or at least she thinks she does, but really she loves the game. She loves the mystery, and she is smarter than ever here. She's not just a nerd that's stuck up. She's actually smart. She's actually solving things. She's actually doing things on her own. Vilma has the most crazy side plots. Like she's literally a spy at the beginning of season 2. Like doing high op spy missions. That is so cool. And the episode with the siren where Vilma gets a lot of focus, it's just all really great stuff. I think that she, of all of the characters in the show, really reflects the perks of Mystery Inc. as a show because of her growth and her storylines and the way she gets fleshed out in a way that she's never been able to before. Whereas she used to be this hollow shell of this nerd archetype, she actually got filled in with personality here. And like Scooby, people didn't always like that. People thought, inversely to Scooby, that Vilma was annoying, that she was, trying to break up Scooby and Shaggy. And it's like, Scooby and Shaggy is the bond of all bonds. You will not be coming between that, heathen. That's what people said to Vilma. And I get where they're coming from. But realistically, I think Scooby and Vilma both had times where they were wrong, and I don't think Shaggy was manning up in the way that he needed to. Let's talk about Shaggy.
If you don't want to go, just tell me. I'll understand.
Oh, what a relief, because I don't...
What?
Out of everyone in Mystery Inc., I think that Shaggy is probably my least favorite of the main 5, though he's great because it's my Scooby-Doo show of all time. But he just has the least development, and that's also because his archetype isn't as poorly fleshed out in other mediums. I actually feel like in What's New Scooby-Doo, even though it's not as drawn out, it's more episodic, I still think that he gets fleshed out well enough in the sense of like, I actually see who he is, I see what this archetype is, and I know it. Whereas Vilma, it's like, okay, she's an annoying nerd, but like, what's her redeeming quality besides being smart when y'all acting like himbos? Shaggy, he's like nice and he's useful and he's fun, and that's what we like him for. So I do like that he gets more emotional weight. He gets to have that emotional triangle that's really fun. And I like that it ends up being him and Scooby. I think that's actually a really strong choice that the writers made when they made the show. The fact that they didn't make it the Shaggy and Vilma thing in, because it's Shaggy and Scooby. They're the iconic duo, and their friendship is more important to the chemistry of the show and the group than anything else. Now, I would argue that the 2 people that we have yet to talk about are the 2 of the core 5 that make Mystery Inc. what it is in terms of story and in terms of fleshing out these characters like I talked about with Vilma. So let's talk about Fred.
Fred. If you weren't my boss's son, I would not hesitate to make you disappear. Forever.
I believe you.
Fred is typically the fan favorite when people come out of Mystery Inc. He has a lot of really fun development because his parents play an overarching antagonist role throughout the show, specifically in the 2nd season. And there are episodes where like they are doing things to him where like it's a children's show, so we aren't talking about it, but it's abuse. And it's like, whoa. And in the 1st season, his adopted dad who he thinks is his real dad, is also the villain and is also doing bad things. I mean, like, he can't catch a break, and he has such clear character development where he's so focused on his traps and he's so focused on like school and all these things, where he actually is cutting out the relationships in his life. He's pushing Daphne away even when she's trying to reach out to him. And to see that there's actual growth in that area, and in the second season, he loves Daphne more than he loves his traps. And we actually get to see that happen episode to episode, and we get to see him make those choices and learn those lessons. That's a really cool development, especially to have in a children's show. And it's something I love about Mystery Inc. His art kind of peaks in that episode towards the end of season 2, which I just watched. Man in the Mirror. I'm looking at the man in the mirror. Brad and Judy are trifling, acting like old Daphne and post-apocalyptic Fred. I think the freak not. You will not
Come into my house, impersonate my old girlfriend, because first of all, she's gonna age beautifully. She's not gonna look like the hag that you made her up to be, and you're not even gonna act like I'm properly obsessed with traps and my girlfriend when you're gonna impersonate me.
chopped. Brad and Judy stay chopped, and they are on my list.
Fred, we're headed straight for that wall. It's solid brick.
Is it? Or is it?
And my favorite character of the core 5 in this show is, drumroll, Daphne.
Daphne, now I need to talk to her.
Daphne's gone. Call me Crush.
Darn it, lady, I'm serious. Where is she?
It's Daphne, guys. Are you surprised? Daphne is so my favorite character coded. I traditionally like the female character who subverts what people expect her to be in groups and in TV shows like this and movies. And
I did a lot of thinking about this, which you'll see in a video coming up that I haven't filmed, but I've done the planning for. I was like, why is this a character type that I like? And I realized it's because I feel like I've been the victim of people's assumptions and stereotypes before. And so I think when I see this archetype get flipped, as it so often does, it's very powerful to me because I'm like, oh, like, they're actually beating the allegations.
like, yeah, Daphne's a baddie, but she's also literally doing karate, and she's going to absolutely kick you down that ventilation shaft. She is no damsel in distress, and she makes that clear in lots of Scooby-Doo media.
Now who's the damsel in distress? Me? Straight up.
And in Mystery Inc., she's a lot of great dynamics. I really like her and Fred's relationship, her pining after Fred. I think that is a really fun, and I like that they actually let her do that, because people have always been like, Fred and Daphne are a freaking couple, are they not? And they did it here, and we wanted to see it. And I like her shellfish allergy and her relationship with her family. It's just very real how they do her character. It makes her much more grounded, just like Vilma. Which makes sense. These were female characters that were introduced at a time where we weren't giving them quite the same leverage that we were giving male characters. So it works that this modern adaptation of Scooby-Doo with more drawn-out storytelling takes the steps to do that. If I had to rank them more succinctly for you, I would go Shaggy, Scooby, Velma, Fred, Daphne. In this show. Not in all the shows, because someday we'll talk about What's New Scooby-Doo, and it will not be the same. Let's talk about some of the iconic villains, the ones that stick with me to this day. The Freak of Crystal Cove. The Freak of Crystal Cove! That man is scary. I watched that in my living room as a kid for the first time at like 8 p.m. on a Wednesday night. Oh my goodness. The way I was sleeping in my parents' bed was crazy. The way I was sleeping in my parents' bed that night, when I was low-key too old to be doing that, should be studied in schools, because the Freak of Crystal Cove is the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm peeing my pants. I need to buy a diaper because I am going to soil myself in fear. And then to have the reveal that it's Fred's stepdad, and he is so evil, and he's been pulling so many strings and doing all these evil things, and to have that emotional weight too, it makes a villain that was already scary because of the character design and makes it also super real. Freak of Fritzl Cove, you will always be famous. Professor Pericles, also the overarching villain, is iconic. I'm sorry. And the whole mystery gang, I love Mr. E and I love Cassidy. As you know, I think that Brad and Judy should literally be banned from this earth because they're such bad parents, but they're fun characters, narratively. And aside from them, let's talk about Aphrodite. That episode is crazy, and she was real. She was real. If everyone was calling me chopped and unk in high school, I would be like, I ain't chunk. You're getting freaking manipulated by my pheromones. Naturally. The first Hex Girls episode. Fred and Daphne are beefing. Daphne's sick of unrequited love. They go to the Hex Girls, whomst Vilma is a huge fan of, and they invite Daphne in. They give her a Hex Girl makeover to bait the villain as attacking their concert venue. And I kid you not, Daphne has never looked better ever in her life. A ginger person has never looked better in their life than Daphne does in this episode of Scooby-Doo.
Call me Crush.
And the song she sings is so good.
Trapped with love and met with desire.
Scooby and Shaggy get trapped in a tour bus and it like explodes. Everyone was shaking. Everyone was like, did you just invalidate our Scooby and Shaggy tea? And also the scene where the mystery machine blows up. Lives were changed when that mystery machine blew up. My life was changed. Another thing that makes it really special is that it has real stakes, which is something that I can't say for all Scooby-Doo media. I think the live-action James Gunn movies do, but outside of those, the other things don't have super high stakes. A lot of the direct-to-TV movies also have high stakes. The reality is that in season 2, Cassidy dies, and it hits the team hard. And yes, I know that she does come back. She's not actually dead, but they don't know that. And we literally see them grow as characters because their friend just sacrificed themselves for them as a team so they could achieve the greater good. It's just, we've never gotten anything like that in Scooby-Doo, and it makes it real. And that's the type of stories that we should be feeding to our children, ones that have real stakes, even if it's a little scary sometimes, because that's actually what makes you think and grow, because I'm still thinking about it and growing from it as an adult. So what can it do for our kids? It can teach them empathy, it can teach them problem solving, it can teach them the fun of a good mystery, it can teach them that women are more than the stereotypes that they have been put in, it can teach them that it's okay to hyperfixate on something. Traps, big sandwiches, my shellfish allergy, and that's okay. And remember, Daphne on top, Brad and Judy are chopped, and this show is life-changing. If you've never watched it, go watch it. And thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please leave a like, leave a comment, and leave a subscription. I'm trying to grow this channel, and I am off social media right now, so I will not be able to promote them anymore either. So I'm going to need you guys' help to keep this train rolling. And with that, I hope you have a great week. I hope that you solve a mystery in a safe and fun way, and that you are just unbelievably blessed with joy and happiness and good vibes. Peace out.